Welcome to our study of Rome. You can see here a temple of friezes, an Etruscan temple in which on the wall there are friezes or relief sculptures. Here you see images of the Greek gods translated into their Roman names. Zeus becomes Jupiter, Hera becomes Juno. Here you see a modern Etruscan temple. This is the Etruscan temple, which borrows from the Greek style of temple and really is a prelude to the Roman temple. Here you see the Roman Empire at its furthest extent, all the way to Spain, into Britain, almost into Germanica, into the Middle East, into Syria, into Judea, down into Africa, literally into the Horn of Africa. This is the Catalan she-wolf, basically suckling Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. Very powerful statue. This is an example of a Roman patrician showing the busts of two of his ancestors. Ancestor worship was a big part of Roman life. This is the Colosseum. Again, as you can see, it's at least 4 stories high, freestanding, made of concrete with a wooden substructure, something that the Greeks couldn't achieve, a freestanding stadium. Here you see the aqueducts, which really puzzle people, but these are long shafts that brought water from reservoirs into Rome. And you can see in this diagram here how there's a conduit, an intake valve from a reservoir that carries water downstream into an aqueduct bridge, and the water flows on top of the bridge into the city. And then you can see in a modern treatment plant where the water is treated and then flows out of the city. But actually, water was actually cleaned as it went through the city. It went through reservoirs and canals in the city, and was then the wastewater was then carried out by a sewage system into the Tiber River. So people didn't really drink from the Tiber River. This is the Pantheon, the largest freestanding dome, again made with a wooden frame and concrete over it in Western Europe. This is sort of a darker image of it during the day. Notice the outside of the Pantheon isn't all that spectacular. It's the interior dome and the light emitted through the dome that makes it quite spectacular to look at today. Again, a freestanding dome. This is Augustus Caesar, the Augustus of Prima Porta. Notice the angel at Augustus's knee. Augustus is claimed to have found Rome a city of stone, making it a city of marble. Probably the greatest leader of Roman history. This is the Arch of Trajan, or the Tower of Trajan. Very, very beautiful monument to the empire at its greatest extent. This is Pompeii. This is one of the rooms in Pompeii that was preserved, covered in volcanic ash, but preserved into the modern day. And as you can see, all the paintings still retain their color. These are some of the people that were probably killed in Pompeii. They were probably overcome by the fumes. They look like they're lying down. They probably went unconscious, and that's how they died. This is again more paintings from Pompeii. And as you can see, because Pompeii was covered, the paintings retain their original color. They are not washed out. Here's again more paintings and more friezes from Pompeii. Probably fresco painted on plaster. This is a large sculpture, probably 14 feet high, of just the head of Constantine. Notice here we're moving away from realism towards a more symbolic view of the king as this beloved image. Here's, of course, the Arch of Constantine, gives you a sense of the arch celebrating the triumph of him. This is Marcus Aurelius, considered to be one of the great philosopher kings of Rome. This is an equestrian statue where he's doing a beneficent pose on the people. And as you can see, he's sort of bowing down and giving a blessing to the people. He was considered to be, again, the closest thing to a philosopher king in Roman history. This is the Roman Empire at its furthest extent in the Middle Ages. The Roman Empire had gone into eclipse, and the Byzantium Empire had expanded into the Arab lands. And you can see the Byzantine Empire then sort of stabilized. The Roman Empire regrew. People began to move back to the west. The Byzantine Empire became more Eastern influenced. The Arab Empire began to expand, and the Byzantine Empire sort of stabilized its boundaries. The Roman Empire stabilized its boundaries, and the Arab Empire stabilized its boundaries with Germanic tribes and Russian and African tribes on the borders of these various empires.